All right, we're rolling. We're back.
Welcome back
Welcome back to Nothing Cast.
to Nothing Cast. Finally we're returning
To our original studio.
Original studio. Here's a picture of what that is. It's just Patrick's bedroom.
We're finally back in the bed.
We're finally back in bed together.
So this series is missing.
Yeah.
Series is missing. What the series has been missing is new content. And instead of uploading videos
once
from
a year
of stuff that, like, videos that we recorded a year ago.
Yeah.
Like, and then it's like,
And
wait, well, why are they talking about movies that came out like a year ago?
Well, yeah, that's
because they did.
Yeah, but that's probably what this will be. Well, I don't know what this is. Do we even have a planned?
I don't know. You don't need a plan. It's Nothing Cast. It's not Something Cast.
That's a good point.
If it was Something Cast, we'd go in with a plan.
I feel like before we before you hit record, I had like all these topics that I wanted to talk about,
as soon as you
and then
record.
I forgot all of them.
Well, I remember things through like association of like what room I'm in, and then that kind of translated also into like whatever like app I'm in as well. So if I open Google and I'm gonna search something, and then I close a bunch of tabs, I'll forget what I was gonna search.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I do that too. But also, I get like whenever I open up my toilet game. Do you have a toilet game like an iPhone game?
Oh no, I mindlessly scroll through Facebook,
Oh, okay.
or I'll respond to an email, or I'll like text someone, or like
like
I'll do like one
what
short,
you're supposed to do on
one
your phone
short task.
if you had friends
Scrolling through Facebook, or if it's gonna be, and I sit down and and I'm feeling it, and I'm like, this is gonna be a long one. I'll start like a longer YouTube video, like maybe 5 minutes long. It's like just to like keep me company, because like I know it's gonna be a journey, and I want some entertainment to get through it.
Well, like, okay, well, I always play like a shitty iPhone game of some kind. It's either like a dumb farming simulator or like something along those, or like a like shitty puzzle game or something like that.
Chicken something or other is like the newest one.
Yeah,
Chicken Inc. or like
I don't know. I used to play Cow
Evolution.
Cow Evolution, which is just the same as any animal evolution, because there's 100 of those.
Of
the same.
I think Cow's the first one.
Cow is the first one I heard of.
I checked online for like the first time in like 5 years, and it's like your tractor brought in $3 billion. Like something like that.
Yeah, but then then my phone died, so I had to get a new one.
Yeah.
This is where the story is going.
I feel my phone going off. I should probably silence this. I feel disrespectful.
Yeah.
To the
but my point of this topic was that whenever I am like not doing anything, I'm like, oh, let's play this dumb puzzle game I downloaded. And then I like flash back to all the memories of me sitting on the toilet playing the game. So it's like, I don't know, it's just one of those things where like you associate it with the thing, so then you like remember all the other times you were doing a similar thing or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, or it's like this room belongs to these set of tasks, and this room belongs to this set of tasks. So it's like, let's say it's like I grab I'll go to I'll need a pair of scissors for something in my room, and then as soon as I leave my room and I grab the scissors from my kitchen, I'm like, okay, I don't know what I need these for right now. Right. As soon as I get back to my room, I'm gonna see the thing I need the scissors for, so I might as well take them with me. So
I know that's the room I was in before.
And then I see the thing that I need the scissors for, right? Because it's like the scissors don't live in my room; they live in the kitchen. So it's like, but like I need them for my.
I'm surprised you remembered the scissors. Normally, I'd get to the kitchen and be like, "Why am I here?"
Yeah,
and then go back.
And
then you remember, and you're like, "Fuck."
This is me as I'm growing up. I'm learning more things about myself like this, where I'm setting up for my own stupidity. So it's like I'll forget I own something if I can't see it. So my shit is just everywhere all the time. So that I know where everything is, because I'll forget I have something, and
if it's like in a drawer or something.
Yeah. Or it's like, well, if it's important and it's in a drawer, so I'll have like a drawer that's like just paper. So it's like, okay, so if I had something paper, I probably stuffed it in this drawer, and then I'll go through my paper drawer, and there it is.
Yeah, or that's kind of how I organize, which is like not really organized at all. Yeah. But I know where like most things.
No,
like,
I know where
I do know where all my stuff is. Like, and all the things I need have this very specific spot on my desk, even though my desk looks like a pile of garbage.
Yeah.
And like even stuff will be like, okay, no, like even these things that are on top of each other, they're always on top of each other in the correct order.
Yeah.
And that's why I know where they are.
You know, I have like a spot on my floor where I throw like my backpack and like stuff that goes in my backpack because I don't always need like everything.
Right.
So like, it's kind of a mess though right now. Like there's like random papers and stuff that I have or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, so that's my organization style. So what I was getting with that. Where I was getting to with that is that we were.
You going somewhere?
I was going somewhere with that, which is that we were in your room before, so I wanted you to think about stuff that was in your room, and maybe that would help you remember. And the first thing I remember about being in your room was we were playing with your Starbucks
toy. Yes, that actually does sort of do something I wanted to talk about. Well, I don't know, kind of, because you were like, we should talk about video games. And I'm like, okay.
Because we haven't talked about video games before, and I just think...
Have we ever done a Nothing Cast about video games?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe vaguely, but, like, I feel like I don't know, I saw your, like, 2020 video or whatever. You're like, the year 2019, it was a year, and it was a year, and it happened, and that was basically the whole video, and you're like, I want to do videos that are more, like, personal and stuff, and I just want to, like, that made me think about, for whatever reason, like, just, like, our, like... kind of joined experiences playing like Pokemon and Zelda and like just like how like weird Nintendo is just in general.
Yeah, but that's why they're great.
Yeah, no, but it's just like I think it's interesting, but we never talked about that though.
That's a good point.
Show.
We normally talk about Star Wars,
Marvel, Marvel into Star Wars. We talked about Game of Thrones, I think. Back when I was watching it.
Yeah, we talked about Game of Thrones once or twice.
Yeah.
We didn't do one on the finale or anything, which I think we were planning on doing.
Yeah.
Because we were like, oh, then we'll do a big Game of Thrones episode when the final season comes out.
But like,
and then like,
what can we say about it?
That hasn't already been said exactly.
Like,
yeah.
It was like whatever. Just you make your own opinion.
Yeah, we missed the boat on that one.
Yeah.
I think also for me,
Arya didn't miss the boat.
No. That's the only thing I really want to see. Arya.
Arya, the Disney Plus original show.
Yeah, where she's a pirate, and it's either just called Pirate Arya or it's called Arya.
Arya. Okay, I get it now. It took way too long to get that. No,
I didn't explain the setup to the joke. I just did it.
Yeah. No.
That's my only thing I have to say about Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, yeah. So on the topic of Game of Thrones and games and videos about Game of Thrones. So video games. That's
nailed it.
Nailed the segue there.
Nailed the segue. We're back on topic. The topic was made up 5 seconds ago. This is a good episode. This is very classic Nothing Cast, where we talk literally about nothing for about 15 minutes, and then we decide on a topic that takes over the rest of the episode. But also we barely stick to that topic while it's happening.
I don't know.
Did you have like just the concept of video games, or did you have something in mind?
No, like kind of like just like about like kind of like growing up playing Pokemon and Zelda, and like how like I played a little bit of Zelda but not as much as you, and like how like you've played probably more Pokemon comparatively, but like I
feel like you've played through all of the games multiple times, and I skipped like a bunch of
games. But like you've played, I think comparatively, my Zelda ratio to your Zelda ratio is probably lower than your Pokemon ratio to my Pokemon ratio. I think we're more like I think we're more like 2-1 for this, but we're more like 5-1 for Zelda. Like
that's true. I have played.
You played through several Zelda games. I played through a couple. I played a couple, and I beat one. Like
which one did you beat? Ocarina?
I beat the first Zelda game.
Oh, Zelda 1, yeah.
That's the only Zelda game I've ever beat.
But that's impressive, because that one's way harder than every other one that came after.
Yeah,
I've only beaten all the easy games.
For whatever reason, Ocarina broke my brain, and whenever I went back to play it, I never could figure out something. So, like, I don't know, I found it frustrating. And
that's fair. There's some confusing dungeons and stuff. That's why I also cheated a bunch. Like, at first, when I was like, I'm like, playing through most Zeldas, I'm like, no, I'm not going to look up anything because I just want to get the experience of going on an adventure and stuff. And then like later, like even this year, I'm like, I should finish Wind Waker and Twilight Princess because I got like 75% through those games and then
like stopped. The main story,
yeah, and then I'm like, So then I'm just like, okay, well, I'm not gonna remember where I was from like years ago, so I better look this shit up. And then I looked up that, and then so then I used a guide to get through most of this. So like
I used a guide to get through Zelda 1 as well.
Right, but I feel like you have to.
Yeah, like
it's for some stuff, or unless you're gonna like fully like explore every possible nook and cranny.
And I've played, I've played it enough that like, cause like we made that map or whatever. Like we made our own.
We
map.
made our. That's the other thing is we're gonna make our own map and do this legit like in the 80s.
They had to do it in the 80s,
and which was really fun, but also like we didn't get very far.
No, we got through the first like we got through 3 dungeons, I think.
Yeah, but then we
needed a walkthrough.
Yeah, then we found where the 5th dungeon was,
and then we
realized I think there was a point where we needed an item from an earlier dungeon that we couldn't progress.
The fourth dungeon boss was the 3-headed dragon, and we couldn't figure out how to beat it.
Yeah, because
I looked up a walkthrough. I looked through the walkthrough on how to beat it because it was so hard. Yeah. So it's like, in order to beat it, I had to like find like extra. I had to find like extra armor, I think, or like I found like either did that or I found like a potion, or I bought a couple potions, or I figured out how potions worked better than because it's like there's like a blue potion or a red potion.
Yeah, the blue one you can use twice.
The blue one you can use twice. You drink the blue one once, it turns into a red potion.
Right.
And it always fully. So I found some more hearts or something, and I did that. So basically, it's like you can either use bombs, but basically the main strategy is just go like in the crevice, like right next to like the actual body of the dragon, and then just like stab it as much as you can until you get hit, and you're so it's just like you're just dealing blows back and forth and trying to not die. But it's also a matter of getting to that point in the dungeon and not having to heal to get that far, because it's really hard dungeon before that, so it's so you have to get through with a good amount of health so you can start the fight not having used with a blue potion. So it's like you're about half health and you start the fight, use the blue potion, you keep going through the fight, you almost die, you use the rest of the potion, you keep going through the fight, and then I still almost died, but I won.
So, see, like you actually like have to use potions in Zelda 1 unless you're like an expert and have done it 100 times.
I have no idea how
but like
80 could have figured this
out.
But
like you don't need potions at all in any of the Zeldas I've played. I would sometimes use fairies because they're super convenient, where it's just once you run out of health, it automatically revives you, so you don't even have to think about it. You can keep like battling, but like literally, because all the ones I played are like most of the later ones. I did play through Ocarina, which is fairly difficult, but like not that bad.
So you played through Ocarina, Wind Waker.
Yeah, okay, here's all the ones I played. Ocarina, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild, Link Between Worlds, and I think that's it. 4 Swords, but it was like a DSi.
Was it the 3 Swords DSi adventure?
No, you could download it. It was like what's it called? Just the virtual console stuff. Yeah. They had it like a special deal at one point where you could just download it for free. So I'm like, oh shoot, cool. So I downloaded it and beat it, but it wasn't that long. So I think because it's supposed to be multiplayer, but you can play it single player also.
So it's just one sword.
Well, it's just you control. You switch between them.
Do each of the links have like different abilities?
No, there's just like certain rooms where you have to like stand on 2 buttons at the same time and shit like that.
So it's like playing Lego Star Wars with yourself.
Yeah. So it's not sad. So it's not as fun. No, but I don't know if you were even able to do the multiplayer.
So is it like a Zelda game for people who like have friends? Like is that?
Yeah, well that's the thing. It's weird. Like that's why
But it's a virtual console.
I wanted. That's why I'm like I don't know if you could on that version. It might have been a downgraded version, because the original one it was like for the Game Boy and you just use the link cable or whatever.
Oh yeah, we still have that.
Do we have it?
Yeah, somewhere? I know exactly where it is.
That's interesting.
It's in my room.
Oh yeah, I've also
third drawer.
There's also a few
over there.
There's also a few Zelda games that there's one Zelda game that I've also played but have not beat, which is Majora's Mask.
And you also played Zelda 1.
And I have played Zelda 1 as well, but not beat it. Yeah. And I fucking completely gave up on Majora's Mask.
Really?
This is my hot take on Majora's Mask.
Okay.
It's hard as shit and not fun to play.
Yeah.
But people like it a lot because of the like side quests. But like the way it's structured, you have to do everything within the 3-day time limit.
It's like Darkseid kind of in that way.
Yeah, actually, yes, because that game also has a time travel.
It has a time element where
you have to.
It's not time travel. It's just you die in 3 days, so you have to restart the game.
That's what this is, where you die, the world dies in 3 days.
So do you literally restart your entire game, or do you keep all your items?
You keep all the items. Mm-hmm. You can keep your rupees if you put them in the bank. Because
that makes sense.
Because the bank is just time travel, or no, it doesn't make sense because
that makes less sense.
No,
because like it's like you keep your wallet on you and it moves with you, but then when you open it, there's no money in it. It's like, is there like a time bank? Like if I had cash on me,
it's just a time bank. Like it's like they don't. There isn't.
That would make sense if you had all your money in a bank account, right? Let's say you have all your money in a bank account. You like Then you go to
the future. Your bank account should still be there, and you should be able to get your money.
But if I went back in time,
to before you deposited the money
or before I got paid,
or before you even had
it. But let's say I go to the future. Let's say I'm in the future and I'm about to go back in time. I take all the money out of my bank in cash. It's in my hands. I go back in time with it in my hands, and then I get paid again. I'm multiplying my money right now.
Yes.
Or I'm creating paradoxes.
Or you're creating
or I'm breaking the market.
Yeah, you're.
Oh, we can just get rid of debt by making more money.
That's a wheelbarrow full of cash to buy bread situation right there.
How Link started the communist revolution.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Game Theory.
And that's
my name is
just
Matt
a theory, a game theory.
I used to make great videos, and now I'm a corporate sellout. Well, at least I'm making money.
At least I'm making money.
I'll pretend I wrote this.
I'll just say it really enthusiastically, and you'll think that I care about this. What is he talking about? FNAF or whatever?
Five Nights at Freddy's?
Are they still making those? They must be, because Matt still has a career.
You know what? They must be because, like...
You know what? Okay.
Like, kids that can't talk about those games.
Yeah, but that's who they're for.
Yeah, they're for kids. So they must still be making them if kids are talking about them still. Because, like, if they weren't making them, then it's like, why would they still be
It's not just, like...
It's such a fad type game.
No, I guess so. I'm like, the first
Because, like, no one talks about Slender.
Yeah. But that's what. But then they never made a Slender 2, or maybe they did, but it didn't do very well.
Yeah, it's because there was more stuff in it, and it was better. It was
right. It was fine because
really
it was just a very simple game
that still freaks me out. I still won't play because it's like.
It was good. It's good.
It's a solid.
It does exactly what they tried to do, which was a creepy atmosphere that, like, in a map that is confusing. And just this, there's always a constant threat, and that
soundscape of just like you hear like the boom, 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 and like there's like misdirects, and it's like there's so many corners you have to like go around and stuff.
And the map it's just hard to navigate, even though it is consistent because I've seen people like make maps of it and like do speed runs and stuff.
So the map is that there's 10 locations.
But only 8 pages.
8 pages, so the 8 pages will randomly reset to the locations, right? Mm-hmm. So I've seen videos where people like play it and try to beat it and like actually end up doing it, but like it takes them like multiple attempts because it's actually really hard.
Because it is hard, and you have to kind of get lucky in some points too and stuff.
And the flashlight runs out of battery, so like they eventually just start memorizing the map and turning off the flashlight to conserve power. But it's like you can't possibly see the paper without the flashlight. Like it's like even max brightness on your laptop, like it's gonna freak you out.
Yeah, it's a well-made indie game. It's a good one.
Yeah, I know.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about
how I don't like Majora's Mask.
You don't like Majora's Mask.
Well, yeah, okay. So here's my thing. And I appreciate what people like about Majora. I think an Angry Video Game Nerd did a really good video on Majora's Mask recently, where he's like, this game's fucking like hard and annoying to play. The like story is really cool, and all the like characters and side missions and stuff are really interesting, and because it's all about like death and these people that like are in like all the different areas are based on the different stages of death, kind of like very loosely.
Stages of grief,
different stages of grief. So like the main town you start in is whatever,
dying, almost dead,
mostly
afterlife.
dead. But like the first town, like is like sort of like denial, so like nobody really acknowledges that the moon is literally gonna crush everyone, and then like as you go on through the game, like everyone reacts to it differently, and there's like these really weird and dark stories and storylines and stuff, and it's got this weird dreamlike element because it was using recycled game stuff from Ocarina of Time, because they made it in a year. So like it's got all these like interesting stuff,
but like those like most famous games were made in like a year.
yeah, but like the game is not fun to play, and that's kind of intentional because it's about like this huge moon threat that'll destroy the entire world if you don't save it and you only have 3 days, so you have to do everything in a specific order correctly in a certain amount of time and stuff. And yes, you can change back time and whatever, but it's still like there's a constant time limit and this constant looming threat, and so it's just like stressful to play.
Yeah.
Which is by design, because that's the like atmosphere they're going for. But it's not fun. Like
it's like Groundhog Day, but you're living it.
Yeah,
it just sucks.
It's like misery.
It's fun to watch because it's Bill Murray, and and he's very entertaining and he's very charming, and it's fun to watch him go through trial and error in this day that he is living over and over again.
Yeah.
But if you were actually in that, it would be hell. Like
exactly.
Suck so
That's
bad.
when Majora's Mask is. It's hell. Link is in hell, which is such an interesting idea.
Yeah.
But it's all like because it's so dark and weird and like fascinating. But like, it's not fun. I'm sorry. And also, like the other main thing is what I like about those Zeldas that I think are the two of my favorite ones, which are Breath of the Wild and Link Between Worlds, is the not linearness of them. And you can do anything in almost any order. It's all the emphasis is on exploring, right? Like it's just like you have this cool world, go explore and do things in any order you want and like stuff like that. And that's like what's cool. And like finding secrets and stuff, and that's what's like cool and fun about Zelda, and that like I like about the series. But then in this one, it's like no, you have to do everything in a very specific order, and like the like way the side quests are like integral to the game, kind of. So it's like, oh, you gotta do all the side quests to get like the full experience, and it's like, well, I barely ever do all the side quests in Zelda. I do like maybe some or none of them. I did some in Breath of the Wild because I like exploring, and it's like, hey, a lot of the side quests are like, hey, I heard there's this weird giant horse in this area, and you're like, that sounds weird and interesting. And then you go to that area, and then there's literally just a giant horse, and you can just like get it, and then you can just have it now. It's like stuff like that that's like fun, and but I don't know. Anyways, the long of the short of it is that I didn't like Majora's Mask because it's not really fun to play, but that's also the intention of the game. So I guess it succeeds.
Yeah, it succeeds, but you don't have to like it.
It's not something that I like or really want to play. Maybe I might try it again at some point. Because I've heard the N64 version is better than the 3DS remake, which is the one I played. Because they like changed some of the way the you get the different masks, and like you get different powers and stuff. And they
really?
And they like change how some of those work or something. I don't know. But anyways, I don't know. I might try it again at some point.
You get like an N64 and try it.
I'm like, okay, let's try the like old school. Like, let's go for it and get the full experience. Because like, I don't know, it's one of those things where like it's a lot of people's favorite Zelda game because it's so different and really interesting and has these cool dark themes and stuff. And it's one of those things where it's like, oh man, I just really wish I liked this as much as everyone else did. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I got you. Yeah.
So why were we talking about Zelda again? Because it's cool. Because it's fun. I like it.
It's cool and weird, and just like that. Nintendo kind of has like these three. They're kind of three like flagship franchises, like Mario, Zelda, and Pokemon. Like of those three, we really gravitated towards Zelda and Pokemon, and Mario not at all.
Yeah, that's a kind of why is that?
I think it's...
We played a ton of Mario Kart.
Yeah.
But that's a different kind of game.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think
we never.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. Why is that?
I think.
Is it just we never played it very much?
I've played a couple Mario games, and I've enjoyed what I've played of them. Like, I'm not like a huge I'm not a Mario hater or anything. Like, I like the Galaxy series from what I played of that. Like Mario 3D World was really fun.
We played some of that, and that was fun.
We've played some of the like original Mario, and like
which is
hell, but
too hard for us. We also grew up on like Lego Star Wars, so we like suck at games.
Yeah, no, we're not. We're definitely not by any stretch pro gamers, no. But like, I don't know. Like, I find something. I think I really gravitated towards Pokemon for some reason because I like. I don't know. I find it really satisfying. Like, I just like things where it's like there's things and there's lots of them. Like, I'm a really indecisive person, so I like that. So I like that it's like
able to get lots of
but
stuff.
I like that that I can play as six characters at once essentially,
right. And you can change them at any point.
Change them at any time I want, and like all that kind of thing. That's basically a sandbox RPG. Like, and just that concept.
They kind of nailed the RPG format. Like, they kind of nailed it.
How do you mean?
Just the well, like a lot of other RPGs. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's the freedom and exploration aspect.
Yeah.
They nailed, because like a lot of other RPGs, you have a party of like several characters, but like you don't get to pick who those guys are.
No.
It's based on like what the story that they're telling is, which is fine. I'm sure. Like a lot of them are still good, but like,
and with that you can still kind of play those characters different ways. Yeah, so there's still that character. It's like Fire Emblem.
In Fire Emblem, you get a little more.
You get a lot of different characters,
variation
kind of
and
different
stuff.
Classes and that kind of thing. And classes have different advantages and disadvantages. So it's kind of like medieval Pokemon in some ways.
Right. And Fire Emblem,
it's a little more like.
There's more like numbers to it, from what I understand.
Well, how do you mean,
like Pokemon is fire beats grass?
Oh, it's literally like that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's like okay.
But like, you don't need to know any more than that.
Bows and wind magic beat flying units.
Oh, okay.
So don't put your flying units in your bows and wind magic, and use your bows and wind magic against flying units. And then there's also like a triangle with axes, swords, and lances. So it's like one beats one beats the other one beats the other one. The same way with fire, water, grass. Right. That's another thing. You'll get an advantage. You'll get like an edge or something like that. But it won't always be like the most damage, depending on like what rank of each of those weapons you have are and stuff.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Is it gets more complicated because there's more stats that are involved, and there's more like. There's the strategy. There's the like tactic strategy element where you have to place people your
different ways, and like you pair them together, and then the other layer to that in Awakening is like trying to like set up people to like get married so that you can get like different versions of their kids
kid from
and
the
stuff
future
like
that comes back.
Because like depending on who they marry, their kid will have different stats.
Right.
So it's like if you get Chrom to marry like the hardest possible girl, Lucina's gonna have really good stats. Right. But it's like you get this person like two chapters before Chrom's supposed to get married, and he'll marry whoever he's closest to at that point.
Right.
So it's like you have to just like, or he'll marry someone else if he doesn't have like the S rank on like that person. So like you have to like make them get married before that chapter.
Yeah.
Which is like
and Fire Emblem,
and I've done it before. Like
but like Fire Emblem, they also have like like you can turn it off now, I guess, but like the permadeath stuff.
Yeah, so play classic or casual. Casual is there's no permadeath. Classic there is, and that's really fun because it's like survival of the fittest. So if you have a unit that sucks and just dies all the time, like it'll just die once and you'll never see it again. So I like that because it makes all your units stronger.
Right.
In some ways, but like I understand it's like, oh, I want to keep this unit around longer, but the way I see it is like, you know what, if you wanted to stick around you would be alive. So like you just end up with a few really strong units, and it makes the game like I don't have to think about it as much. Like
that's interesting.
Because there's more numbers and things, so it's like that way I don't have to think about it.
There's less numbers.
Less numbers because they keep dying, right?
That's funny.
And then
I've never heard that interpretation. That's the easier way.
I find it easier to organize your units
because there's less to think about.
Because you get like so many units. Like you end up getting like if none of them die, you end up like with like 30 or like 35 different characters, and like you can use like a max of like you're usually using like between like anywhere from 9 to 12 is pretty average on like the bigger levels, like maybe like 13 or 14, but like that's it. And like then you just have like 20 guys you never use and suck. So it's easier if they're dead because you don't have to think about them.
Right, and I guess you have to like spend turns moving them or whatever and stuff too. And
well, it's no, it's like you start with like you have 35 units total, and then like it's like you choose among them which are going to go on the mission.
Oh yeah, okay.
So then it's like, but then it's like you'll just have these guys.
But then
they're just there and they do nothing.
Right, because you're just sending the same ones every time.
I'm using the same ones every time because they're the good ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like
I'm not using.
They might as well be dead. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
I could do a full 180, pick a random unit, grind it on like random other levels. Like you can do grinding, like like any other RPG, but it's like so like that's Awakening is a really great game that I've played through a couple times because of the different ways to play through it and like that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the one I've heard is really good. I've also heard Three Houses is
that's the one I wanna check out because
I'd be interested to check that out at some point too. But also, the other thing I've heard is it's like. I started playing this game and then 100 hours passed and I don't know what happened.
Oh man, no. But I mean, I don't know. I guess the element of just circling back to Pokemon.
Yeah.
The element of Pokemon because it's
I think a lot of things. It's really accessible.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of they're kind of easy.
They're
overall,
kind of for kids.
Because they're kind of for kids.
But some of it's not though. Some of it's. Like,
well, it's not because kids don't. It's not just kids that play them.
Yeah,
they're not because
they're more for
the fans have decided they're not for kids.
Yeah. No, but like there's certain things where it's like I wouldn't.
It's for everyone.
Yeah, there's like so many like the level kind of like order you're supposed to do things like took me forever to figure out the first time I played Fire Red. And every time I play through it again, and it's the same in Pokemon Red. I played an emulator of that. It's the same map and everything, but like. It's like the order. I know the order because I played through the games a bunch of times, but it's like there's like almost nothing intuitive about it. Where it's like, so it's like
in the first couple,
in the first game,
right.
So it's like the first gym, like everything from the beginning of the game until the second gym makes sense and is easy to figure out.
It's like
after that,
are going to the
next city. and then to get to the third gym city, it's like, well, where do I go from here? It's like, well, I can't go this way, so I guess I'll go down. You go down, you make it to the third gym city, right? Yeah. After that. You can then you can circle back to the beginning of the game to like the first gym city through the Diglett's cave, but the point of that is just to get the Flash HM because there's a Flash HM guy early on, so that way you can get back and do that, but it doesn't actually progress you, so you don't have to go through Diglett's cave at all. But it's a thing that's there that makes you think you're progressing. So as a kid, I remember endlessly going back and forth between this cave, thinking I was going to progress somewhere.
Right.
And then every time I got there, I was missing
like,
something. Whenever I got there, nothing happened.
Right.
Right.
But you got the HM still.
But I got the HM still.
You just didn't know that's all you needed to get.
I didn't know that's all I needed to get. I thought there was
like more to the cave somewhere.
No. It's just a straight line. And then like you can go to the right of that town.
Yeah. Is there any other caves that you've been to at that point?
You've been to Mount Moon, but you can't backtrack to Mount Moon through Cerulean City. You hop through over a ledge, and then you just can't go back. You can't go back through the cave you got to get to Cerulean City. You're trapped in Cerulean City.
But like I thought you said you go back to where you started.
You go back to like before the first gym.
Through the cave?
Through the cave, yeah. There's a cave around the third gym city that takes you back to like right around kind of the beginning, like very beginning of the game, like Pallet Town-ish.
Yeah, okay.
Like Viridian.
Right. So then, can't you go?
You could go back
forwards?
That way. You can go forward from there, but you have to have the cut HM, which you get as part of the events of the third gym city.
Right.
So you can do that, but that just puts you back at the beginning.
Right, because you don't think to do that because it's like, oh, I'm back at the beginning.
I've already been here.
And
that's not going to be useful until the very end because the 8th gym city is Viridian.
Yeah.
Which is really early on.
Right. But you can't go to the gym yet.
You can't go to the gym yet, no.
Yeah.
So it's like, so then from there, it's like you can't go right. So it's like, okay, so then I'll go back to where I couldn't use cut before, but now I can.
Right.
In Cerulean City. But this is where it gets weird because as soon as you get the cut HM, you don't have to do the gym first. You could just go through that route, go through the entire rock tunnel, go to the 4th gym city. Then you can do the thing that lets you access the 6th gym city.
Right.
This is all without beating the 3rd or 4th gym.
Right.
Then if you have to get the bike voucher from a house in Vermilion City, like the 3rd gym city.
Yeah.
And then take that back to Cerulean City to the bike shop so that you can get a bicycle.
Right.
So you have to know to talk to some rando that's going to give you the thing that lets you get a bike. So then the bike lets you progress to where the 5th gym city is.
Right.
From the 4th gym city.
Yeah.
So then you can go to the 5th gym city. You can do nothing there, and then get the Surf HM from. I think you might need a badge to use it outside of battle, but you beat whatever badge you need to use Surf outside of battle. Actually, to get Surf, you don't need to get Surf. You need to go through the Safari Zone to the very end of the Safari Zone and find an item called Gold Teeth.
Oh, yes, okay.
And then you give the gold teeth to a guy, and he gives you Surf.
Right. But, like... people complain a lot about how modern Pokemon games are really, like, hand-holdy, and they tell you exactly where to go and stuff.
This was fucking impossible.
But I think they were just
in order to get to the 6th gym city, in order to get to that city, so it's like there's 5 cities, and there's one in the middle of all of them, and there's one above it, one below it, one to the right of it, one to the left of it, and you can't go directly in it because all of the guards tell you, sorry, it's closed right now, but I sure am thirsty. So what you have to do
is find water.
No, you have to go into an old lady's house, and she gives you tea, and then you go to the guard, you give him the tea, and he says, "Wow, thanks for this tea." And I'll share it with the other guards. So then that pathway is open. So you have to know to go into a random old lady's house, ask her for tea, get the tea, and give it to the guards.
Yeah, I think I heard about that once, where someone was like explaining
this.
But
it's like, I know this because I've done it so many times.
Right.
The first time I played Fire Red, it took me a year to beat the game because I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Where do I go? I guess I'll talk to every single person.
I'll talk to every single NPC in every single town, but like it gets to a point where it stops being linear and it stops making sense. And me knowing what I'm doing, I don't even have to beat the gyms in the right order.
Right. I remember someone talking about the tea thing where they're like, the guy's like, I sure am thirsty, and he's like, okay, well, I know there's a vending machine in this town. I'll go get him water or whatever.
Doesn't work.
That doesn't work.
But then also, like, while this is happening, there's like this Team Rocket plot, so it's like you can go to the Pokemon Tower and go do everything up until you find a ghost. And it's literally just a ghost sprite. Like, it's not even a Pokemon sprite. You can try to catch it, but it's a ghost. So it doesn't work. And you can't go past that certain point until you get another item from completing a dungeon in the one city before that. So you have to complete that dungeon, get the Sylph Scope from Sylphco so that you can see the ghost, and the ghost is actually a Marowak. Then you have to murder the Marowak. You straight up just have to murder it. Like, you can't catch it.
Right.
And then it's like a mercy kill. It's like, oh, you put the spirit at rest. This is a thing you have to do. and then you can, like, progress in the game. But I forget where you have to do that in the order of the gyms. I think you have to do that somewhere between, like, the 5th or 6th gym, or I don't know. I've played this game a million times and I forget every time I play this game. I just know you have to do these things at some point.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things too where like people like, oh yeah, Pokemon's always been easy. I beat that game when I was I beat Fire Red, or I beat Red when I was a kid.
Yeah,
it's like,
how did I do this?
Yeah, but you did, but
What cost?
It was probably a lot of trial and error and shit.
Yeah, by the time I beat the game, my game file was like, I had like almost 200 hours on my game file. It was dumb.
I think that game seems. I haven't played it actually. I actually haven't played Fire Red or Leaf Green or any of the first gens. Although I do enjoy Charizard as a Pokemon. I think he's cool. Mm-hmm. And I grew up on the Kanto series and stuff. And,
mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm familiar with it.
Yeah.
But the way that I hear about the first game and you can do some of the gyms out of order and stuff is it feels a lot like the first Zelda where you could do some of the dungeons out of order and it was more just kind of kind of go wherever and
yeah, right,
you figure it out.
It's just dumb
and there's some stuff where you have to do a thing first to get a thing and then you go to the other place, but they
talk to a stranger who needs something and then you give him that something and they give you something else that's more convenient than
and
the thing you initially
but they don't really tell you that you're supposed to be doing that.
No.
And then But and so like definitely later in the Pokemon games they're much more linear. They're much more like, here you have to go to this specific, like they tell you very clearly you're supposed to go to this town and talk to this guy and stuff before you. But like I think at this, I don't know, maybe the first one does have a lot of story and stuff in it. I don't
Not really.
But
you're kind of just walking around. But the story happens whenever you get to the story.
Yeah, yeah, which is the true Pokemon style of like you're just walking to a town. Hey, I'm this character, and like, this is my motivation.
It's like you always end up.
Anyways, talk to you later.
You always end up like bumping into your rival. But it's like you could just like walk up to the patch of grass right before your rival shows up, wait for 10 hours, take a step forward, and
they're always there.
They're always there to bump into you at the exact time. Like,
yeah. But like, I think even though I think Pokemon still is not perfect.
Yeah.
And I think even though in the later games they make it much more clear of like where you're supposed to go and they tell you right away, okay, you got to go to this city and stuff. There's so many like dialogue moments that are boring.
I think that's
that I almost always just go through all of them, and then I completely miss what they're telling me because I don't care.
Yeah.
So when they're like, you have to go here, I skipped that because it was in the middle of like, my name's Gary and I'm the brother of this other guy. Man, I sure like catching Pokemon. Do you have a Pokemon? Yeah. And it's like all this shit that it's like, I know this.
Yeah.
And they always make you do the tutorial of, here's how to catch a Pokemon.
Yeah, even if, like, it doesn't...
Which is like, they should just have a thing where it's like, have you played at the start where it's like, are you a boy or a girl? And then you pick that, and then it's like, have you played a Pokemon game before? And then you say yes, and then it's like, here, pick a starter, like, right away.
Yeah. No, I think, like... They do have a little, like, some prompts where it's like, oh, like at the beginning of the game, it's like, welcome to the world of Pokemon, I'm Oak, I'm whoever, I'm a tree, who cares?
I'm Professor Tree.
I'm Professor Tree. And
there's a funny video I might have to show you later, or at least part of it, but anyways, I'll try to remember it later.
This is basically Pokemon, or?
No, it's this other one, it's this video series that I found where just this guy explains games weird, and like... He did one on Black and White recently.
Yeah.
And it was like, the way he like starts it is like, here's the professor, and his name is a girl. Oh, that's right, you sexist person. You thought that it was gonna be a boy, Professor. Your ideas belong back in 2009 or whatever, like the year before.
Like 2011.
Yeah, the first time they made a girl professor was like 2010 or 2011 or something. So like the year before that it was just so it's like, I don't know, just the way he like explains stuff, like it's basically like explain a game plot badly.
Yeah.
And it's just like funny the way he like describes certain things. What was I talking about? Pokemon. But Pokemon's fun.
Yeah.
I know we're complaining about it.
No, yeah. Yeah, I know. I think, so, like, it's funny, you were talking about, like, how there's, like, all these, like, dialogue boxes and stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, I think the interesting thing about, like, Black and White is such an interesting, like, game for me because, like, I have kind of, like, my problems with it, but, like, I still really like it and, like playing through it multiple times. Like, there's something kind of interesting about on the 5th generation saying like, okay, let's like start new and give you an experience that like people playing like the first Pokemon game would have had, where you don't know what any of these Pokemon are or what they do.
They're actually all new.
They're actually all new, and some of them were kind of rip-offs of like original Pokemon.
Yeah,
like
as they have been since Gen 2.
Yeah.
There's always like a bird one and a rodent one, like an early rodent that's normal type.
Yeah.
And there's always a bird that's early on and stuff like that. But like, I think that's a good idea because in pretty much every game after one, like there was always like a Pidgey or something, so that you're like, oh, I know what that is right away, I'll just catch that. Or like Geodude shows up in almost every game.
Yeah, when I remember playing X and Y and I caught Pidgey and then it evolved into like a fire flying type. I'm like, this is awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But that one also has just regular Pidgey that you can get.
Yeah, you can catch regular Pidgey as well. Yeah. So yeah, I guess the point I was trying to make is that in Black and White they actually tried to like give it a story. It was like their kind of idea, and it gets like kind of nuts by the end. Where like it's like you complete the entire Elite Four, right? And then there's 2 boss fights like back to back, and you catch the legendary before the boss fights because it's like the game like puts you into this kind of like Jedi like Destiny like position where it's like okay, so like. First off, before you've even started playing the game, the like there's like an opening like cutscene of like this dude, some random guy's like coronation, and you're like okay, and then like as you're playing through the game, like the team Plasma, they all wear like knight uniforms, which is like weird,
right?
And then they have this weird like Pokemon like Liberty like. Movement thing where they're like, oh, like we're bad. And
we don't like the Pokemon are enslaved.
But then they also just use Pokemon the way you do, so it's like they're kind of flawed in their ideology, like you know. Yeah. So it's kind of funny, like that's like a thing, like in the Pokemon universe. That's, like, really like interesting. Yeah. Where they're like, oh, like. All our wars started because of Pokemon and like all this like stuff. And I'm like, geez, okay, like whatever. So like that's a whole thing or whatever. But it's kind of glazed over because it's not really about the politics. So it's like you find out like later in the game, like so you kind of have you have like 2 friends and then like this other guy, and his name is N. And you never find out
Trainer N,
yeah,
something.
And it's like. It's like who is A? It's like that, like or it's just like he doesn't have a name. Like his name is just N, and then you find out that like he's the guy.
The N stands for nothing.
Yeah, because he's like Ray. You find out that he's the guy from the beginning of like the beginning cutscene, and he's like he's like I'm the king of Team Plasma. Like we've got like this whole like monarchy thing going, and I'm the king. I'm the like king guy, and it's like oh shit, okay. So then like you kind of get put at like this like position where it's like he'll get like the how like you need like the orb to get like the legendary thing, so it's like he'll get like the black orb
the third game
so you'll get the black orb and you'll get the white orb, and then in depending on which game you picked, you got the opposite colored legendary
of the game you picked.
So in black you get the white dragon, and in white you get the black dragon.
Is that the one on the cover?
Yeah.
So you still get the one on the cover, but
you still get the one on the cover, but it's the opposite color. Yeah.
Okay. Did they switch that in the second one?
In the second one, they reversed it. So it's
the white one, the white 2, you get the white dragon.
Yeah. So it's like if you played, so it's like almost like a sequel in a way where it's like, so let's say I get black and then I get black 2, as you should. That way I get the white one in the first one and the black one in the second one.
Right.
So that way it's like so that way it gives you an opportunity to get both and then to make money. So
so it's the same as you just buying both.
Yeah, but anyways it's nuts, and like there's this whole thing where it's like you get an orb and the N guy gets an orb, and then it's like okay, like it's literally like you beat the Elite Four, and then before the champion fight, like you get to the champion and he's like, "Oh no, I'm being assaulted by like the evil team." Like a castle grows up out of the ground and like all this crazy shit happens. And then like the dragon shows up, the legendary dragon, you have to summon the legendary dragon, and the game forces you to catch it before you fight the
Wait, you can't
king.
Just kill it?
No, you can't just think you can't just kill it.
Because normally they're like,
no.
Oh, try to catch it if you dare.
Yeah.
But maybe just kill it.
No. You have to.
Only a master trainer could catch it.
If
only you had a master ball.
It forces you to catch it, and then you can either choose to put it into your party and send someone to the PC in that exact moment, which you've never been able to do in a Pokemon game before.
Right.
Or you can just send it to your PC because you like the team you already have.
Right.
But I'm like, fuck it, I'm using the dragon, so I send my shitty electric type to the PC, right?
Right.
And then it makes you do like that, like this whole thing where it's like, so then like the first Pokemon in your party is like your new dragon, and then he sends out his dragon. So it's like you're like pitting like your like dragons against each other.
That is kind of fun, actually.
It's this whole Destiny thing, right? So it's like it's nuts and it's crazy and it's super fun. So then you beat him, right?
Have they ever done that before?
No.
No, just the idea of you have the one legendary and then the main like villain that you're fighting has the other.
He's kind of like your frenemy throughout the game.
Right. He's kind of like. Is he kind of like your rival?
So you
also have a rival.
So you have two friends. You have
and
the girl and the boy, and the boy is like a serious trainer, and the girl kind of sucks. So the boy will always pick the starter that beats you, and the girl will always pick the starter that you beat.
And the girl will pick the one that's left.
So it's like.
Yeah, like in
So and you have
X
to,
and Y,
but you have fights with both
as
of them.
well.
So it's like whoever. So and there's something like 20 different rival battles between those two and throughout the game. So there's like a rival fight every 2 seconds. So that's one of the problems with the game. But anyways, so after this fight, it's like, okay, so you do this crazy like dragon battle or whatever, and then it's like, no, just kidding. That was one boss. There's another final boss, and it's like that.
Is it the champion or is it?
No, it's N's boss. It's the guy who's like, he's like, so it's like, you know how like the Queen is like in charge of England. It's like the Prime Minister. Like it's that equivalent of it. So you have to fight. Then you have to fight like the like leader of Team Plasma, and he has like a crazy hard team. He has like the pseudo legendary dragon, and it knows like Surf and Fire Blast, so like and like Focus Blast. So like because of that coverage, like all your Pokemon are screwed when you're fighting it, and like so it's like, and all of his Pokemon are like at least. By that point, I think his strongest Pokemon is like 10 levels higher than like the weakest Pokemon from the beginning of the Elite Four. So like by this point, you're just like I think you get a heal between that fight and the other fight, but it's like, oh my gosh, I'm not high enough level to do this. So like I end up having to like grind just so I could do the entire Elite Four again.
So you have to do. So do you have to play through that whole like story thing again, or is it just like fight me?
No. So it's so weird. So what happens is that like so if you lose. I think it's either if you lose the end fight, and the boss's name is Geetsis. If you lose the end fight, or if you lose the Geetsis fight, instead of just like having to do the whole story again, there's like a Team Plasma guy in the Pokemon Center that you get teleported to, and then if you talk to him, you'll just teleport back to the boss fight.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
Yeah, but it makes zero sense.
No, it doesn't.
Story-wise, it makes zero sense. But it's like you lose a fight, and then you just run away and come back.
But it'd be so annoying if you had to play through all of the Elite Four again.
Yeah, I think
then watch the cutscene where the castle shows up or whatever, because then it just wouldn't be exciting the second time.
Yeah, and then you do that whole thing, and then that's kind of the main story. So then like you can beat the Elite Four again, and the actual champion, because it's like. It's always so obvious, like, who the champion is.
Right. Like, it's like, hi, I'm just a regular trainer like you.
Yeah. So
I won't be important later on, and then they, like, help you defeat
So in the first game, it was always like... In the first game, it was always like it was like your rival, right?
Yeah,
which
is smart.
Which is cool, because he's always one step ahead of you.
Yeah.
And he ends up being the entire Pokemon League before you, so he's the champion of the league.
Yeah.
And then it's like kind of like the final battle is the battle you've been having throughout the whole game.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool kind of
that's
moment for you as a trainer.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
In every other game, it's like you'll just be going through your adventure, and then like there'll be like a guy like in a tree, and he jumps out, and then he's like, "Whoa, stand back! I gotta do a really cool thing," and then he does a really cool thing, and then he like walks away, and then you're like, "Whoa, I wonder if that guy's gonna become important."
Yeah, and
then you're fighting the evil team, and then he joins you in a double battle, and he has like a Metagross or like a Dragonite, and you're like, "Fuck, okay."
Like, whoa, this guy's a pretty big deal.
He has like the really strong Pokemon, and your Pokemon like suck, and you're like, "Damn, this guy must be a big guy, big deal." He's a level 49 Dragonite, and that Pokemon doesn't evolve until level 50. It's always like really obvious.
Yeah.
But like in black and white, like
and
that guy shows up. That guy,
and then you get to the final boss, and it's like, I bet you didn't expect it was me, the really cool guy who's been cool through the whole game. So the point of it is that in black and white, he does that. He does that same thing. He has his hair looks like it's on fire, but that's just the color of his hair, and like he's just this really cool, mysterious guy. Like when you meet him, he like calls to you from a mountain and then like jumps off of it and like slides down and like this whole thing, and he's like oh, he's so cool. So then you get to the champion room and he's there, but he's already been beaten by like the evil team. So then you have to fight the evil team instead. But then when you fight through the Elite Four again, he's actually the champion. Okay, yeah, but like you've already beat the game at
You've
that
already
point.
beat the game at that point, so you can't actually fight the champion until you beat the game.
Right, and that's like the second version of fighting the Elite Four, which they have in most other Elite games where like you fight them a second time and they're stronger.
It's the only version of fighting the Elite Four. It's just that time. I think that's after you beat the post game, the Elite Four gets stronger, but like in that it's like
right,
how you beat them. Yeah.
I'm just saying it's the equivalent of like
it's the equivalent
of how other games sometimes you like do something and then the Elite Four gets a little stronger.
Yeah. Well, think about that as like a concept where it's like in Pokemon you're going from like one hard battle to the next hard battle. Like it's like, oh, I'm just gonna have to do one fight. Then like for the end of the game they make you do 5 in a row.
Yeah, to make it harder. But except in this one where they make you do 6 in a row. Is that right?
Well, you get a heal somewhere.
Right, because you weren't expecting it.
No,
well, they're
it's an
hoping,
ambush.
They're hoping you're not expecting it. Which I appreciate that. That's fun. That sounds.
It's nuts and it's pretty fun.
But like,
but as a whole, it's pretty easy. But like, if you like do like a Nuzlocke of it, it should be pretty fun.
Yeah,
where, like,
that's
you kind of make rules about Pokemon dying.
And that's kind of how I've played Pokemon recently. Is it's like, okay, I have to give myself some kind of challenge. Like I never use items in battle anymore and stuff like that because it's like,
what's the fun in that?
Yeah, then you're not even playing anymore. You're just waiting for them to run out of moves.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, but what, I don't know. What was I gonna?
Talking about how it was cool.
That sounds cool is what I was gonna say, and I appreciate that because it sounds like they actually tried.
They tried something different.
Decided something a little different, shook up the formula a little bit. I like the idea of the like the Team Rocket like just interrupting the Elite Four.
Yeah.
And like because like normally the game's like, oh no, Team Rocket or whoever the team is in this one is doing their evil plan. And it's like around when the 8th gym is, or just after the 8th gym, and then you go.
Like Giovanni is the 8th gym leader,
right? Yeah. And then you go,
which is cool.
Yeah, that's cool too.
But that's kind of like the end. Once you beat,
then that's the end of the story, and then it's like, so also to beat the game, you have to beat the Elite Four, even though the story is now over, and you're like, all right, sure, one last challenge or whatever. I mean, like, that's what you've been doing anyways, because you don't really care about the story, because it doesn't matter. And just, like, gotta do the next gym. But, like, that's a cool way of, like, making you care about the story, is like, oh, shit, the story's interrupting the Elite Four, the actual thing I care about? Oh, man. And now I have to do these 2 crazy boss fights in a row?
But first I have to catch the legendary?
Yeah. And I like that idea, too, of, like, catching it, now you have to use it to fight the bad guy who has the opposite one.
Yeah.
Which I don't really think they've done that before?
No, they haven't.
Why haven't they done that before? That's such an obvious thing.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe Ruby Sapphire? It sounds like
the closest thing is like you get like one of them towards the end and it's like, quick, now use it to fight the bad guy, and then you just fucking destroy them with a legend because they're a norm. Like in Platinum, you get Giratina before the 8th gym, and then you just annihilate the 8th gym because you have Giratina.
That's the other thing. The other thing with Fire Red and things being out of order is that you can catch Zapdos. Like hypothetically, you could catch Zapdos anytime after you beat. Like anytime after you have the Cut HM, because you can access the area of the game where he hangs out, and then you can get Articuno before the 8th gym.
Yeah.
So.
You know what's weird about Cut?
Yeah.
You can it sucks, and you can beat Emerald without it.
Really?
Yeah, there's no areas that you need to go where you need Cut. You get it like the 2nd gym or something.
Yeah.
But you just like all the areas that you can use Cut are just like for extra items or like shortcuts. You actually don't need it to beat the game.
Really?
Yeah. Because I knew that because I didn't get Cut when I first played through Emerald. I just missed it where you're supposed to get it, and so then I just never had it. But I never needed it, so I can just
Cut is like the crux of Gen 1. There are so many trees. There's so many trees in that game. There's a point. There's one area,
and that's why Gen 3 is the best because you don't need Cut.
Yeah. I mean, I played through. So I beat Ruby like once, and there's a playthrough that is stretched over the course of like 5 years. So it's like I played it like up until the 7th gem. And then 5 years later, I beat it.
Right.
Like recently. So.
Nice.
So yeah, I've never played through all of Gen 3 until then, like on my own, like because I played your Emerald, but like I would just fool around.
Right.
You'd be like, Patrick, what the fuck were you doing? I'd be like, I don't know. I was just doing contests over and over again because it's fun. Give it back to me.
We also like didn't know how Pokemon worked.
Yeah.
Right originally.
I'm gonna clone Rayquaza a bunch of times.
No,
while
not
he's
that.
holding the Master Ball.
You can do that. You can actually do
I
that.
know. That's what you did.
That's what I learned you could do. But when we first got the game,
Yeah.
I didn't know you could only have one save file.
Yeah.
So we kept like overwriting each other's save
I remember
file.
that. Yeah.
And then
We thought it was like a regular video game.
yeah, where you have multiple save files.
Yeah.
And we just like didn't think about it.
Yeah.
But no, Pokemon's strict about not letting you do that.
Yeah.
Because every other game we had played, you'd have at least 3 save files.
Yeah.
So we just didn't know. And then they're like, no, you're not allowed to do that because then you can get all the Pokemon without buying more than one game. I think also it's a big game, so it probably takes up a lot of memory to fit it all on that tiny cartridge.
Yeah.
How do they put such good games on such a small cartridge?
Well, I mean, Breath of the Wild is
even small. It's a bigger game. It's an even
smaller
smaller cartridge.
Yeah.
That's the master of technology.
Yep.
How long have we been going?
Almost an hour.
Only an okay, yeah. We literally just hit the hour mark.
Wow.
It's an hour and 12
Was
seconds.
your internal clock telling you that our audience was getting bored?
And we're low on battery.
Yeah.
No, I was just thinking like, it felt like we were going for a while, and I was wondering if there was a point to any of the things we were talking about, or we just like
I think I just kind of reminiscing on like
on games that we like.
Yeah.
As opposed to talking
about movies and just like how like it was.
We also like video games too.
Yeah.
We're not one dimensional. We don't just talk about Star Wars.
Well, no, just like it was just something that it was something we grew up with.
Right.
Like
yeah.
And that like we like I like it kind of like I don't know if it's just things that I like or it shaped things that I like. Like it's just kind of like
I think
it's part of the media I've consumed, like, you know.
I think it's a combination of things. I think flipping back to Zelda briefly.
Yeah.
One of the things I like about Zelda as a series is it's very similar to Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because it's just the hero's journey.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, it's a regular guy, but then he gets a destiny and a cool sword, and he's got to fight the bad guy and save the princess. and I like that story. And when it's done well, it like that's all you need. And yeah. So it's both something that already appeals to me, but also something that informs other things I like, I guess. Is that...
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or am I just saying, I like Zelda and Star Wars?
No, it makes sense.
They both have
You're saying you like
swords in
classic
them.
stories because it's cool.
Yeah, because you get a cool sword, fight a bad guy, save the princess. And then you put a fire on a bush, and then Moses shows up. That's how Zelda goes, right? What are we talking?
We're talking about video games.
And the lesson of the story is, video games are cool, I guess? Is that the lesson?
Yeah. We like weird stuff, and this is some of the weird stuff. Because like, Pokemon's like a weird game. Like, it's like
if you explain it.
And it's like the deeper it went, like I liked that, but like I liked going deeper into like the game and like understanding it more. But it's like it starts with like, okay, so just understand like type matchups, which is just rock paper scissors, but like on crack, and then it's like, okay, now let's go to like the physical special split and how that informs everything about how you play the game. It's like, okay, well now let's talk about natures and how your stats will be changed based on a value your Pokemon is given as soon as it's born, it gets a thing, and then it's like EVs is like,
okay, so like
that's even more complicated.
It's even more complicated where it's like every Pokemon has one specific like stat that's coded into it, and if you beat more of that Pokemon, that stat will go up more for your Pokemon.
So okay, I've always been confused by EVs.
No, I figured it out. I learned about it.
So how do you?
But then there's IVs as well, which is different.
Oh, okay.
Those are just things just it's like EVs, but it's just coded into your Pokemon as soon as you get them.
Okay, but how? Okay, so the
EVs is something you can modify.
You can modify. IVs is just that's EVs, how it is.
Their effort value. So you get a certain number. You can put like a max of like 100 or something into like each stat.
Right.
You can do that to 2
But my question is just how do you know what EVs you have or IVs?
You can't really check on it. But what you can do is when you get your Pokemon, it's like you pretend it has a base 0 because it's like. Or it'll have like 50 and everything or something like that. There's some base value it has. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, let's say I want to have higher special attack. So there's certain Pokemon that it's like Flaffy is one of them. I think Girafarig, special attack, psychic types, lots of psychic types. And it's like, and every time you fight one of those Pokemon and you kill it, you get an effort value in special attack. Because that Pokemon is a special attack EV Pokemon.
Okay.
So let's see if I
you just have to know all this shit?
Yeah. It'll
make is this in the game somewhere?
This is in the game.
But like how do you know it? Like how do people find this shit out? Just from playing it a lot?
I don't know. Some manual or something like. But it's the thing. So it's like all Tentacools.
Why do they program all this extra shit
Tentacools
in the
and
game?
Tentacools carry like special defense EVs.
Okay, so you like fight those.
So if you want to increase your special defense,
it'll
you fight
increase your special defense.
Yeah, and it's something I've like literally noticed. Like it's like you can check your stats as they're going up after you level up. It's like you got plus to all these things, and the plus was higher for special defense when I fought Tentacools. It was higher for special attack when I fought Flaffies, and like.
Is it always fighting them or just when you level up?
I don't know, but I think I just say always because that worked. It worked. Right. I'm like, I know nothing about this. I'm just going to pick like a couple stats and see what happens. And then it kind of worked. So I've done like a little bit of EV training. That's my only, I have very limited experience with it. But like, it's a real thing. So it's like,
I know it's a real thing.
It's like, yeah. So it's just like you start with that and then you just take it way too far. Like,
yeah, that's what I mean. Is it's like, they never tell you this is a thing in the game.
No, they don't. They don't at all.
They tell you like, hey, nurtures or whatever. Some of them have a different nature or a nurture. And that means they might have different stats. And you're like, oh, okay. I guess I'll pretend to pay attention to that and then forget about it.
They don't tell you about all of them, though. You have to figure it out.
Yeah, but that one you can...
It's like for if you throw a rock at a bird, it'll
For the most part, you can logic your way through it.
Yeah.
And the ones that aren't clearly logical because they're like psychic versus bug or whatever.
Bug beats psychic because it's a fear.
But like...
So all the things that beat psychic are common fears. It's like dark, ghost, and bug. Those are all common fears. Fear of bugs, fear of ghosts, fear of the dark. Okay. See?
So
it makes sense.
So why does let me think of a dumb one. Why does fire beat electric type?
It doesn't.
I know. Why doesn't normal beat something?
No, it doesn't beat anything.
Okay, right, because it's normal and it sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, why does ghost beat ghost?
Because
only ghosts
spook each other.
Because only ghosts can see other ghosts.
Because Danny Phantom can fight other ghosts.
That's, okay,
and other ghosts can fight Danny Phantom.
You got me there. There's only, in the ghost zone, we're the ghosts. Yeah, no, it all checks out. All right, but my point. What was I saying? My point is, you can, for the most, even though
most part it's kind of intuitive.
Yes, the most part it's intuitive. And the ones that aren't intuitive, maybe you don't know all of what ghost beats or whatever. Mm-hmm. But if you have a ghost Pokemon, use a ghost attack on another Pokemon that you know what type it is, and it says either it's super effective, it's not very effective, it doesn't affect it at all, or it just doesn't say anything, then you know how Ghost is effective against that type.
But you have to catch that Pokemon to know what type it is.
Yeah, but you can do that.
Yeah.
or you can guess based on the fact that it shows up and it looks like it's made of lightning, and then it goes like this, and then like a lightning bolt like shows up, and it's using all electric attacks. Maybe it's an electric type.
Then you get like confusing ones where it's just
that's true. There's some that's like fuck you, Sudowoodo, it's a tree, but it's rock type because fuck you.
Like Gyarados, he looks like a dragon, he's not a dragon. Charizard, he looks like a dragon, he's not a dragon. Aerodactyl looks like a dragon, he's not a dragon.
I would argue that some of those are dragon, like, oh, well, it's not a dragon because it's not a dragon type. Yeah, but it looks like a fucking dragon.
Yeah, so Lance the Dragon Trainer uses all three of those Pokemon I just mentioned, as well as Dragonites, because those were the only like dragon Pokemon.
Yeah. And also like Charizard, it's like, oh, it's not a dragon type actually. Yeah, but it flies. It's a lizard, and it breathes fire. That's the description. That's the description of what a dragon is. It's a lizard that can fly and breathe fire.
Yeah.
So how is it not like? I know it's not the dragon type, but
but it's a dragon.
It's still a dragon.
Yeah.
If you like, Pikachu is a mouse because he looks like a mouse, kind of.
But it's not mouse type.
Because mouse isn't a type, and that's shut up.
It should be.
Should every Pokemon just be the type of animal they are? Bulbasaur.
Beaver type.
The beaver type Pokemon.
The beaver type.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we may have gone too far.
Might need to wrap this podcast up, but.
What's your closing thoughts?
No, I'm gonna pitch you. We do a second one right after this about another topic.
Okay.
And then you can tell me yes or no, and we'll find out next time on Nothing Cast.
Okay.
That's it.